All right, let's talk about something that a lot of people are going to immediately dismiss as clickbait, and I understand why. But I want to be very clear from the start. This is not a rumor, this is not inside information, and this is not me claiming something has already happened. What this is a serious, real-world possibility based on publicly visible signals, financial mechanics, and patterns that anyone can verify. And if you care about Ashes of Creation or Intrepid Studios, it's something worth taking seriously, even if you ultimately disagree with my conclusion. Let's start with what we can actually observe. Beginning around mid-2024, something about Intrepid Studios changed, and not emotionally but structurally. We see a legal filing involving access to financial records. That matter resolves quietly, and shortly after, a new CFO appears. From there, development accelerates, but polish does not. Alpha 2 rolls out in rapid phases. Targets are missed. Phase 3 is delayed from May to August 2025. And then, very suddenly, Ashes of Creation launches into Steam Early Access. The decision surprised a lot of people, not because Steam is bad, but because the game was clearly not ready. So the natural question becomes, why now? Steam Early Access provides something very specific. It creates public visibility, player counts anyone can verify, revenue estimates anyone can model, proof that the product can generate cash. That doesn't mean that was the intention, but it is the effect. And when you combine that with what happens next, it raises reasonable questions. At the end of the year, additional public filings appear. A new UCC filing, new names, expanded language around asset access. Then one of the original UCC holders transfers the UCC from themselves to a new Delaware registered company called TFE Game Holding LLC. Again, that does not prove anything, but when financial structures change at the same time as development direction, it's fair to ask why. Then there's the Statement of Information filed in California on December 30th. This filing was not due until May of 2026. Instead, it was submitted roughly 5 months early. And once filed, it does not need to be updated again until May of 2027. That matters because Statements of Information list ownership, control, and board-level details. Filing early does not imply wrongdoing, but it does delay public updates if something changes soon after. In isolation, it means nothing. In context, it's another data point. At the same time all of this is happening, communication changes. Leadership that was once extremely visible becomes quieter. Live streams are delayed. Messaging slows. Response becomes minimal. Meanwhile, the game struggles publicly. RMT increases, botting increases, servers are unstable, PvP systems don't function as intended, or gameplay loops are missing. And yet, there is very little direct communication addressing these issues. That is unusual for Intrepid Studios. We also see layoffs, 9 employees most recently, which on their own are not unusual in game development, but combined with delayed live streams, accelerated timelines, reduced system depth, increased focus on shipping rather than expanding. It begins to look like a studio under financial and operational pressure. So if there were a change in ownership or control, who would realistically be involved? Large external publishers are largely stepping away from MMO development, not acquiring unfinished high-risk projects. The more plausible scenario historically would be existing lenders, existing investors, or a restructured board exerting more control. Not a sale to an outside giant, but internal consolidation. Historically, when projects enter that phase, the outcomes are fairly consistent. We usually see layoffs, reduced scope, faster pushes to beta, earlier release, fewer long-term systems. We've already seen signals that point in that direction. Increased dimensions of external teams, AI assistance, faster production goals, less emphasis on large interconnected systems. If control or direction were to shift, it would likely result in a smaller Ashes of Creation released sooner, not the game originally envisioned. So to be clear, once again, I am not saying Intrepid Studios has been sold. I am not saying it is being sold. I am not claiming inside knowledge. But when you line up public filings, financial restructuring, development acceleration, communication changes, and scope signals, it becomes reasonable to ask whether something fundamental has shifted behind the scenes. The next major patch and the next live stream are going to tell us a lot, because if the game suddenly shifts towards shipping instead of building, then the question won't be if something changed. It will be when and why. Stephen, I want you to know that I respect you, and I've genuinely valued the times we've spent chatting in the past. I believe that at the core of all of this, you've always wanted what was best for your team and for the game you were trying to make. No matter what the future brings, know that if given the chance, I would absolutely take this development journey with you all over again. And to anyone from the Intrepid team who happens to watch this, thank you. Thank you for everything you brought to this journey. I know for many of you, this has been a dream job, and I truly hope you never have to wake up. But if you do, know that we appreciate everything you have contributed to this absolutely crazy 9-year adventure. Thanks for listening, thanks for sharing, and hopefully I'll see you in Vera.